Hey there, my name is Krista Harder, and I've been doing Bright Line Eating for almost 2 years. Blows my mind to think that it's been that long. Let me introduce you to who I used to be. This is who I like to call Before Krista. And I have to tell you, she is one of my favorite people, and I have so much love for her. She went through a lot in her life. Overweight her whole life. She has ADHD and asthma. She was bullied constantly and has very low self-esteem. Despite only being in her early 30s, she had already tried multiple things. She had tried vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free, gluten and dairy-free, paleo, keto. By the age of 12, she was using the 30-hour famine as an excuse to try and hopefully lose some weight, and she prayed that God would answer her prayers. By the age of 15, she was already enrolling in fitness programs to try and get some of the weight off. P90X, Biggest Loser workout programs, Jillian Michaels programs, yoga programs, hot yoga programs, fitness center programs, weightlifting, running, CrossFit, intermittent fasting. Nothing worked. Nothing got to the root cause of what was going on. There were many seasons that she felt like she could either eat right or exercise, but she just couldn't seem to do both at the same time. Having 3 boys at home during the pandemic and having to homeschool them for 2 years for fear of her health with her asthma, the weight just climbed and climbed. As she crossed over into class 2 obesity, she knew she had to do something. And quite honestly, by this point, she decided that something was to just let herself go. Just let herself die. I can't even number the number of times that this lady was having a binge and she told herself, this is what death must feel like, because it was so painful. Then she heard about Bright Line Eating on a random post on Instagram, and she decided to buy the book by Susan Peirce Thompson called Bright Line Eating. The book went into the science of food addiction, and it talked about how it really wasn't my fault and how my brain was being hijacked by sugar and flour. The book went on to explain how these 4 bright lines could help heal what had been hijacked in my brain. I was okay with no sugar and no flour, but when I read about the meals line and the quantities line, I actually threw the book across the room. There was just no way. And you know what? There wasn't at that point. I wasn't quite at my rock bottom yet. After that, I tried Noom, and you know what happened? I gained 15 pounds in 2 weeks on Noom. I could not do intuitive eating. So tearfully, I picked up the book, knowing this was my last hope, and it was scary. It was really, really scary, because I had hope, and what if this failed? That's when I knew I was at my rock bottom. That's when I knew I had to come all the way in. I had to sit all the way down. I had to do this plan as outlined. I had to just follow this plan as outlined. Don't make changes. I need to just do this as it's written. I needed to trust. I signed up for the program, and day 1 happened. I wrote down what I was going to eat. I committed it to my buddy, and I ate only and exactly that. I had a couple rough weeks of detox, but it wasn't long before I began to feel bright, long before I looked bright. The brain fog went away. I actually got off my ADHD medications. And not long after, I was off my antidepressants and melatonin that I had to take to sleep. I didn't need coffee anymore for energy, and I began to make lifelong friendships, some of whom I actually went to see in person. It was not all smooth sailing. There were bumps and wrinkles and areas that I got stretched in, but there were so many more victories and friendships and overcoming obstacles. If you've ever had a C-section, you know what a big deal this one right here is. Looking back now, I realize that this version of me was the strongest version of me. For this version of me, life is a lot lighter, and the outlook is so much brighter. This woman dared to hope and trust, and this is who she got to become. This woman was at rock bottom, and she refused to stay down. And all of this woman's success in the program is thanks to that solid bedrock that the first woman set up. This woman was trapped in a food addiction that was literally killing her. And now she's a warrior, and she is free. So where are you at today? Take a look in the mirror. Are you ready? Because I see you. I am still me. This is still who I am. My essence is still this person. The difference is she doesn't have to think about her weight anymore. She doesn't think about her size. She is healthy. She's not afraid of germs anymore. She's not afraid of first impressions anymore. She's not worried about where her clothes sit on her body. And most importantly, she is awake, and she's grabbing life by the horns and deciding what she wants to do with it. So here she is, and here you are, and here we are. She's strong, but you know what? She always was. And in fact, she was at her strongest when she started her day 1. And you right there are the strongest version of you right now. So what's it going to be? Are you going to take the step? Are you going to cross the line?